We are a dad bod health, but I am Jason Priest. I'm a registered nurse, personal trainer, and I went through my own deep, dark health transformation story where I was 60 pounds overweight. So if you're in a rough spot right now, just know that there is a better way. I'm now 41 and in the best shape of my life, and we want to help all of you guys go along that same path. If you're not 60 pounds overweight, don't head there right now. Start taking action now so you can avoid that dark place. If you're more than that, just know that we've got guys right now that have come to us that were over 400 and are absolutely crushing it. So the sky is the limit for you. I'm going to let Anthony jump on here now and talk to you for a minute about just a brief summary of his story. And this is really for the new guys. If you guys have known us for a while, you know more about our stories. But Anthony, what is up, my man? How are you tonight? I'm pumped for tonight's training.
So pumped. Can't wait to talk about some energy. As you guys can see, Jason and I never have shortage of energy, and there's a reason for that. So we're going to talk about that. But real quick about me, for those of you guys that don't know, former college athlete, played football in college, certified strength and conditioning specialist, worked with athletes. But during that time, I let myself slide a little bit. And I went from heavily overweight, where I didn't recognize myself on my driver's license picture. I went from being fit as a college athlete to slacking off and being fat, and then came back full circle, and now I'm fit again, and I'm almost 40 as well, so I'm getting up there, but feel better than ever, and I don't feel a day over 25, and that's the goal for a lot of us. So married, 3 daughters, so I've got a busy life at home, and I need the energy, right? I gotta have the energy because my girls, they're going nonstop, and that's the lifestyle, right? So excited to be on here, excited to help you guys out. You're gonna get a ton of fire tonight, and look forward to connecting with you guys. And you absolutely can smash the like button as well. I'll make room for you guys. So happy to connect absolutely after this call tonight. So appreciate it, Jason.
Love it. Love it. Anthony often talks about being the active grandpa at the trampoline park. And ever since I heard him say that vision sticks out in my mind, because I very much have a similar vision, man. I want to be the guy that's out there throwing the football with my grandson. And my wife and I chose to have kids a little bit later. So I'm the oldest out of myself, Zach, and Anthony. And I'm 41, and I still have a 5-month-old sleeping in my room, and I also have a 5-year-old. So we know all about the demands of being a dad. We know all about the demands of being business owners and career-driven men that want to become the most elite version of themselves. So Anthony and I might be in great shape now, but we are nowhere close to where we want to go in terms of growth. Both physically, mentally, spiritually, the whole circle, man. And so hopefully we can bring you guys some value tonight. So before we dive in, I want you to paint this vision for yourself, right? So we're very big on creating these longer term visions. One thing that I tell every single prospect that we ever talk to on the phone is that the goal of our programs is really twofold, right? Goal number one is to get you to your goal, right? If you're 250 and you want to become 180, that's what's happening right now. We got a guy who's about to graduate our program, started at 290. He's a tall guy, started at 290. His goal was 225. We had a coaching call yesterday, and he just hit 224.2. And so the sky is the limit for you when you work with us in terms of 6 months, man. Like, this is not, we don't do the 6-week, go lose as much weight as you possibly can kind of approach. It's 6 months. And this is not a weight loss program per se. It is a optimal health program and a full-blown lifestyle with the byproduct of being massive fat loss, massive muscle gain, and massive amounts of soaring energy levels that we want to help you guys get to tonight. So I want you to create this vision for yourself. Imagine, because this is what Anthony, Zach, myself, this is our life right now. And we talk about this often. We have business meeting calls every week. And that literally, like, this is our lifestyle. Our morning routine is so similar that we want to help you kind of cut through some of the nonsense that's out there. We do health differently in this group. Our approach is so unique that I would imagine this is one of the most valuable men's health groups that's a free group that is out there. And so I've not seen any that would compare to this in terms of what our approach is. So I want you to create this vision. All right. If you're sitting there right now, you're struggling with low energy levels. Maybe you're hitting snooze 7-8 times when you get up. You're living off of energy drinks. You don't even know where to start with trying to get healthy because you're so stressed out. You don't even know, you can't even think straight. Just create this vision. I was that guy. And the reason that I know all those symptoms is because I did hit snooze 7 or 8 times. I did have low back pain and low libido. I was embarrassed when I looked at myself in the mirror and saw my man boobs and my fat gut. I was embarrassed when, my wife wasn't looking at me the same as she did when we first got married, when I was more fit. And so she definitely looks at me a lot differently these days. Now, create this vision for yourself. You wake up. You don't even have to wake up to an alarm, because your body already knows when you're going to wake up. You get up, you hit the ground running. As soon as you crawl out of bed, there's no grogginess. You're immediately focused. You immediately hit the ground running. You're off to do your stuff. You get to work. You're dominating your day. There is no energy lacking at all throughout the day. You come home. If you got kids, you got the energy to play with your kids, help the wife out, get the bedtime routine all down, and you still got energy to hang out with the wife a little bit, or your significant other, whatever that may be. Maybe have some intimacy without you passing out on the couch at 7 o'clock because you're so exhausted from the day. That is the life that I lived, and we want to help you avoid that. So, Anthony, share a little bit about your experience from when you were in your dark time, because I know you have a driver's license picture that's floating around out there that would definitely compete with my sugar daddy costume, where I look like I was wearing a fat suit. So talk us through some of what you were going on when you were in your darkest point.
Yeah, I mean, I was addicted to energy drinks. I was in a sedentary job, desk job, corporate job, and just lost my way. Thought that, I worked pretty hard in school, and I worked pretty hard as an athlete, and I was in a secure, stable job, and I just felt like it was time to coast a little bit, and I let my foot off the gas pedal. But that was the entire issue, right? We definitely want to be grateful and thankful for everything we have, but we also want to push a little bit harder every single day and continue to grow. So, I mean, it was just like you said, like, no energy. I'd get home from work and I wouldn't even want to do bedtime with my daughter. And those are the most, I mean, the young years, like when they are excited to see us and want to play with us and those kind of things as a dad, there's nothing more special than that. And it goes fast. I've got a 10-year-old and 2 5-year-olds, and it goes so fast. So pretty soon, I mean, I've only got 8 more summers with my oldest daughter, and she's not always going to want to spend that time with me. So I have to be at my best almost at the end of the day when I get to come home and see my family and be around them, because that's the most important time for me. That's my passion. Going back to the fit grandpa goals thing, I want to be able be around for my grandkids and those kind of things as well, and take them to the trampoline parks and do those kind of exciting things. So it's been a journey, and we're going to talk about how we got there. But yeah, same boat, man, same boat. It was a struggle for sure.
Yeah, man. And look, those days, I'm glad they're behind me, because the reality is it saddens me when I hear other guys, like you guys can imagine, Anthony, Zach, and I, we talk to a lot of dudes, right? There's a lot of guys we talk to. And one of the saddest things that I hear, and I heard it today with one of our prospects, and this guy was like, you know what? I feel like I'm missing out on precious moments with my kids, because when I come home, I'm so zapped from work that all I can do is barely try to keep my eyes open on the couch. And before I knew it, I'm out and they're active. They want to do stuff. They want to play. And dad's zonked on the couch. Like, the reality is how many of those moments are you missing out on? Like, right. If you guys feel, and don't be shy, man. Like, if you guys feel that's you right now, type I in the comments now, because we want to help support you. The reality is you deserve better. That's the bottom line, is you got to know that there's a better way out there. And until you break that constant cycle, that vicious cycle, it's just going to continue. And like Anthony just brought up, like, when you start thinking about the fact that you might only have 6, 7, 8, 10 summers left. My wife and I were talking about, we're gearing up for a move. And we were talking about, the thing that really inspired us to make this move that we're about to do is when we brought that up, like, how many more Christmases do we have with my wife's mom? And the reality is not that many. She's over 60 now. And when you start thinking about that, I don't want to go morbid on you, but that shit hurts.
It's reality.
That's deep stuff. And we start thinking about your kids like that. It's like, okay, when you put it in that perspective, it keeps me away from the daily grind, and it gets me thinking about that longer term vision. Like, what am I truly missing out on? You know, if your kid's 7 or 8 years old and they want to play after work and you're not able to do it, well, like Anthony said, they're not going to be 7 or 8 for long. And then they're
Right.
14, 15, 16, and they want to avoid you like the plague, you know? And that is what pains me, man. Like, I don't think enough guys out there get that, or enough guys haven't done enough soul searching to realize that those are the kind of moments that you're missing out on, especially at kids. You know, maybe it's your wife, maybe it's your husband, maybe it's your significant other. Doesn't matter. If you're coming home zonked on the couch and you don't get any time because you're so zapped from the day at work because of low energy levels, what are you truly missing out on? And that's
Right.
what pains me the most. So what we want to do now is kind of shift gears and what we're going to do. And for you guys are not, for the guys that are new in the group, if you haven't picked up on the fact that we are the drums that we beat constantly are the 4 core pillars of health. Okay. Those are that's the bulk of our content is going to be related around those. We consider the bonus pillar mindset, but mindset plays a role with everything, right? Mindset plays a role with health. Mindset plays a role with relationships, with business, careers, doesn't matter. And so mindset is something we talk about early. And we actually have a mindset and motivation class that we do every single week. It's a new thing that we just started. And the guys in the program right now are absolutely loving that class because you cannot get enough mindset and motivation. We'll save that for another time because could that have an impact on energy? Absolutely. But we want to help you with some strategic stuff right now that you can leverage from our optimal performance system just to start performing at a higher level and get your energy levels through the roof. Right. So we'll just start off the top, man. Like I'm going to tell you right now that our first pillar is sleep. I was just reading something on Instagram from a lady that I interviewed on our podcast not that long ago. She's a dentist, but she's a constructive surgical dentist. I can't remember her exact title, but she deals a lot with people with sleep apnea. So she posts a lot about sleep. And she was talking about how there are so many issues tied to anxiety and depression. And doctors right now are literally writing prescriptions for a day in nature. Like that's a thing. And I didn't know it. So she's talking about this and she's comparing the impact, the power of sleep to a day in nature, about how much we heal and recover during sleep, and not just with working out, not just with the exertion throughout the day, but like there are so many processes that go on during sleep that we don't even know about as humans right now, right? The brain is a crazy thing. And so I will tell you that when I was struggling, one of the things that I lacked most because I didn't make it a big enough priority was sleep. The reason we list sleep as the number 1 pillar is because if you don't get that right, like all the rest of the stuff is not going to pay off like it should. I cannot overemphasize the importance of sleep. And that's one of the big focal points during our program is really, hey, like you've got to optimize this. It's not going to be an overnight thing. And we want to start working on it early and often so that we can help you optimize that so that the rest of the things start to fall into place. So Anthony, take us back to when you were struggling with sleep. What was your experience with when you were lacking sleep? What was your experience with the correlation with energy? Because you talked about living off energy drinks and most people think, well, I'm just zapped from work, but I don't think sleep is high enough on most guys' totem poles. And that's why it's such a crucial factor. So what is your take on that?
Yeah. So obviously the energy drinks, they get you going for a minute, but then you're crashing hard on them, right? So middle of the afternoon, you had that hard crash. Then you're trying to plow through the rest of your day, getting home. But then when you get home, you also maybe want to, after the kids are in bed, or spend time with the wife and decompress a little bit. So then I was going to bed so late, and then I would struggle to get out of bed early in the morning because of the way those energy drinks mess with me and things like that. So the number 1 thing that I found out and realized is you need to go to sleep at the same time every single night. Consistency, right? That is by far the most important thing. Even so much going into the weekends, right? If you get that consistency going, and some people get so caught up in, I need 7, I need 8 hours of sleep. Yeah, maybe you do, but it's the quality of sleep over the quantity, right? Everybody's a little bit different in terms of how much sleep they need. But getting that consistent sleep schedule in place and just starting somewhere, even if, and then waking up at the same time every morning as well, right? If you can do those things and establish that, just start with day 1 and say, okay, I'm going to go to bed at 10:30 tonight instead of 11:30, right? Or maybe it's 11 instead of 11:30, right?
Yeah.
And starting to get a little bit more quality sleep and go to bed a little bit earlier. you're going to feel so much more refreshed and ready to tackle the day that way as well. You don't have
No
to
doubt.
do it like 2 hours. It doesn't have to be a 2 hour.
Yeah.
I mean, just start
That's what I was going to
15,
add.
30 minutes.
Yep. You're not going from, if you sleep from midnight to 5 a.m. right now, first of all, that's piss poor. You need some work. 5 hours ain't going to cut it. And if you think that you're going to sleep when you die, you're taking years off your life. There's a reason why the recommendation is 7 to 9 hours, right?
Yep.
Like Anthony said, give or take, right? Some people can thrive off of 6.5. Some people need not closer to 9. I've noticed that as I've gotten older, I'm more of an 8-hour guy. Like 7.5, 8 hours is about my sweet spot. And so, and that's what makes me feel rejuvenated, refreshed, and ready to take on the day, right? And the thing is when you align all 4 of the pillars, that's where the magic truly happens, right?
Right.
Step number 1 is starting to align sleep. And so I think it's so crucial. Love the strategy of knocking off 15 to 20, 30 minutes at a time, because for those of you guys are out there right now that are like, well, dude, I don't go to bed till 11:30 and I'm waking up at 5 every morning. Well, dude, your goal is to start trying to get closer to 10. And if you're at 11:30 right now, don't overwhelm yourself with like, all right, well, how am I going to get rid of an hour and a half of Netflix and go to bed? Like, just start chunking down until you get closer and closer to where you want to be. There's a circadian rhythm that happens. And when your body gets used to that, and you're going to bed around the same time, like Anthony said, you will start to wake up at the same time. And there is literally nothing more liberating than beating like I still set my alarm clock. It's a just in case thing. I have not heard my alarm clock literally in years. And so when I wake up and I shut it off, it's like, beat you again.
That's just sucker. Yeah.
So,
real
go
quick
ahead.
on that. I just wanted to add, I was just going to say, so, the other piece that we forget about is when it comes to sleep is, if not only like the consistency of what time you go to bed, but we get caught up in our identities, right? We say, hey, I'm a night owl, right? I just have to stay up. I'm not a morning person, right? Well, you're just telling yourself that, or you're thinking that in the back of your mind. But if you work on it and make the decision to do it, and that's all it is. It's just one decision. It's just one decision every single day. So by telling yourself, hey, I'm a night owl, I could never be a morning person. That's just
that's the same thing as saying, it's the same exact thing. And sorry to cut you off, but it's the same exact thing. You know what? My whole family's been overweight their whole life, and I'm just overweight. Like, that's such a lame. It's an excuse. It's literally a built-in excuse. Like, don't judge or don't base off your growth and your potential off of what your family's been doing for the last 30, 40, 80, 100 years. Just because your whole family was obese, do you know how many people that have come to me and said that and now are like 6-pack strong? And you don't necessarily need to have a 6-pack. Like, we're not advocating for that. But if that's where you want to go, like, the sky's the limit if you get this stuff dialed in. So thank you for going there, Anthony, because I'll tell you, man, I hear that. I'm just big bone. I'm meant to be this way.
Yeah.
That's a lame excuse. All you're doing is making excuses for the potential growth that you have as a man on this planet. You're capable of great things. You got to believe in yourself. You know what I mean? Like, believing in yourself is step number 1. And until you do, nothing's going to change. That's the bottom line. So let's shift gears. All right. We've covered sleep. If you guys are getting value out of this, drop the word value in the comments. So anybody coming on tomorrow that wanted the replay will see, hey, these guys are dropping fire. We want to stick around. All right. We're going to move to stress management. This is a big one, guys. And this is one that I guarantee you that we got 28 on now. There was 34 at one point. Every guy listening right now, no matter if you feel stressed or not, could benefit and will benefit from stress management strategies and techniques on a consistent basis in your life. I don't consider myself a super high stress person. Anthony does not consider himself a super high stress person. But the reason is because we practice the stuff on a daily or almost daily basis, which limits or eliminates the majority of the stress in our life. That way, when we do have a stressful moment that comes up, we're already ahead of the curve. We're already ahead of the 8 ball, and we're good to go, right? Like, we've got strategies in place. And so I cannot overemphasize this enough. Is the bottom line is this. Most guys that are running around with a ton of stress, first of all, it's a huge contributor to heart disease. There are guys out there right now having massive heart attacks that aren't even overweight strictly from stress. Like, that's what's sad, is it is such a contributing factor that it's nuts. So, what I will tell you on that is stress, sugar. We know sugar's bad. Oxidization is bad. Like those are leading risk factors for heart disease, and stress kills. It literally kills. So what I want to go over here with stress is this: is like if you are not managing your stress and you're stressed for a long period of time and you just don't have anything in place, you are feeling like you're ripping out your hair by Tuesday every week. Here's the thing, and this is so important, is that prolonged stress leads to fatigue, and that fatigue, I'll tell you right now, like when you're feeling fatigue, your energy levels are going to be in the dump. The bottom line is that stress also disrupts sleep. We just went over sleep. It can cause insomnia, leading to low energy levels. The reality is this: if you can get those two pillars dialed in, and we'll go over some strategy. I'll let Anthony chime in and go over some strategies here. But those two just feed off of each other. Sleep, if you get good quality sleep, will naturally start to lower your stress. That's number one strategy, is getting your sleep dialed in. But then putting some things in place where you're managing this on a day-to-day basis or an almost daily basis so that you're never behind the eight ball. So Anthony, what are some tips you have for these guys? Just some things they can start doing right now to really start getting stress under control, because I like, no pun intended, but I can't over stress how important this is.
Yeah, we'll give you guys a quick look behind the curtain of the private group, right? We'll give you some real good stuff tonight. So first and foremost, it's the way you start the day and the way you end your day, right? That's the key. And then if you control how you start your day and how you end your day, everything else in the middle, you can take on, and it will be less stressful. So a great way to start the day is with gratitude, right? So I'm a big fan of journaling, writing things down, right? And handwriting them out, not typing them into an app or on your computer. That works too if you guys are like that, but big proponent for me of writing it down. It sinks in more. I think about it more. I can go back to it, right? All those things are important. What you're grateful for and why, right? And we talk about that more in the group, but that's a huge one for me. You're starting your day off, in a grateful state, right? In knowing that, hey, I woke up, right? I mean, that's great. The gratefulness in yourself, right? In itself, right? Just to know that I have another day. We're not promised
Nobody's promised tomorrow, man. Yep.
100%. So that's a big one for the beginning of the day. And at the end of the day, it's also journaling or writing down or tracking wins, and then also what you have to do for the next day. I like to call it critical task list or must-do list, not to-do list, but must-do list. Yeah. So you've got your day planned out for the next day, so you're not losing sleep, staying up late, thinking about, I got to do this, this, and this. I forgot to do this today. Did I put this down in the calendar? Did I remember to grab this for my husband or wife? Like all that stuff, right? So beginning and end of the day, if you control those two things, everything else takes care of itself.
No, that's huge. That's huge. And I'll just add to this, like if you can incorporate some deep breathing, potentially some meditation, we won't go too deep into that. That is something that we teach inside of our private program. But man, like, because we could spend a whole hour just on stress management, and we respect your time. So I want to move on to the next pillar here, which is nutrition. All right. And we'll end it with fitness, but nutrition is something we can spend multiple hours on. It is one of my most passionate topics, because I feel like the world of nutrition is a way overcomplicated, vast arena that can lead to frustration and overwhelm. And the bottom line is, when you are trying to turn to fad diets and trying to figure this stuff out, it's usually a recipe for disaster. And we want to help you guys avoid that. And so we won't go too deep into, the types of foods and timing and all that. That is something we teach. And we'll do another live stream that's all about nutrition, because the reality is this: if you're starting your day with donuts, sugary cereal, really even oatmeal, like if you're starting your day with a bunch of carbs to begin with, I would highly encourage you to stop that. That is step number one of getting your energy level up. As soon as you do that, your natural fat burning mode is done. Like your body's first source of fuel is glycogen, which is sugar or carbs broken down. You put oatmeal in the belly because it's healthy for you. I'm not saying oatmeal is not healthy, but you could do way better to start off the day. And so as soon as you put that in there, your body, you're going to feel bogged down, and your body's going to be ready for that next carb. And then you start craving and go back to sleep. Let me just tie this in too with sleep. Is one thing I failed to mention, is that when you're not getting good quality sleep and you're not managing your stress, you are going to have high levels of cortisol. That's the bottom line. cortisol is a fat storing hormone. If you have high levels of cortisol, it's going to be very tough for you to burn fat efficiently. Now, in addition to saying that, another problem with not getting good quality sleep is it does mess with your hunger and your satiety or satiety hormones, right? You have ghrelin and you have leptin. Ghrelin makes you hungry. Leptin makes you feel full. If you are not getting good quality sleep, your ghrelin is going to be through the roof, and you're going to crave carbs like you wouldn't believe, wondering why you can't stop eating sugar, you can't stop eating chips. And the reality is, if you would address the root cause, getting sleep dialed in and optimized, you wouldn't even be having those cravings to begin with. So another huge factor there with sleep. But when it comes to nutrition, man, like I can't overemphasize the fact that most guys do not eat enough healthy fats. Most guys don't eat the right types of carbs. And the reality is you want real energy, it comes from food. There's a reason why one of the oldest sayings in the book, whatever that is that we are what we eat. Okay. If you're eating good nutrient dense foods on a regular basis, right? I love burgers, beers. You guys can tell from my logo. I've talked about that often. You came to this group, probably clicked on an ad because you saw something about that. And that's very much what we teach. If you want burgers and beer, pizza, tacos, whatever your fun foods are, those are things we're eating every single week. And when you can dial these 4 pillars in, man, like that is where the magic happens. And that's what's going to give you the ability to have those foods and not gain weight and not gain fat and not have bogged down energy levels. There's a time and a place. You can't be eating, fast food, McDonald's and that kind of shit on a daily basis and think that you're going to have soaring energy levels. But if you want a gourmet burger on the weekend, by all means, go have it, get it out of your system and move forward. And so that's what I want to touch a little bit on nutrition. Anthony, I'll let you chime in, then we'll end with fitness, and then we'll wrap up.
No, I think you did a great job with nutrition. Ultimately, this group, we want to teach you lifestyle, right? So lifestyle of how you can eat healthy, eat consistently, still enjoy your food. And the healthy foods can be tasty, by the way, believe it or not. We will show you that, but also enjoy so I'm more of a taco guy than a burger guy. I like them both, but if it's tacos, burgers, whatever it is, right? And your beers, your IPAs, those kind of things. So we'll teach you consistency, but we'll also teach you how to have fun and eat the things that you still want to eat on a weekly basis and still get to your fitness goals and continue to get past those as well.
Love it.
That's it.
Love it. Yep. If you guys are getting value, again, drop us a value one more time so that these guys coming in tomorrow and after that watching the replay will see that. Okay, we're going to shift to fitness. We're not going to spend a ton of time on here. The reality is you guys know you should be working out, okay? Exercise is fuel for your body. The top 2 reasons that I go to the gym. I am not a fitness fanatic. I do not love working out. Do I have some workouts that make me feel amazing? Absolutely. Do I look forward to going to the gym sometimes to challenge myself a bit? Absolutely. But I am not a guy that loves going and spending hours in the gym. That was my old life. Now I'm a dad. I have an infant, maybe he's still called an infant, 5-month-old and a 5-year-old. I got plenty on my plate at home to not hang out at the gym. All right. Fitness is one piece of the puzzle and is a non-negotiable priority in my life. But the top 2 reasons that I even go to the gym is for mental clarity and for energy levels. Those 2 reasons are what drive me to work out. And then the physique, the rest of it is all just a byproduct of that. It's literally just showing up for those 2 reasons, knowing that it's a non-negotiable priority and for my overall general health, but also because I know that at the end of the day, like it's not something that I'm willing to waver from. It's a non-negotiable priority in my life. And it takes long-term discipline to establish that. Anthony mentioned lifestyle. These are things that have got to get ingrained into your brain. And that is why we have a 6-month approach and not a 6-week approach. Exactly. Okay. So I'll just tell you, Anthony could chime in too with this. One thing that we'll tell you straight up, man, like we teach resistance training and cardio. It is not a one or the other. You want heart health, you need some cardiovascular exercise in your life. We teach a couple of different types. You want lean muscle mass, you want strong bones, you want all the benefits that come from resistance training. You got to have some weights in your life, man. And that doesn't mean you got to go in and try to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. You can see me, like I've got a good physique, but I'm not like jacked. I don't have, cannon arms. That's not what it takes. Anthony might have some cannons, but the reality is it just needs to be a non-negotiable priority in your life. And that is a huge source of energy. So Anthony, throw out your take, man, and then we'll close shop.
Yeah, you guys just have to get comfortable with your why and realizing what you want out of life. So for me, similar to Jason, energy, but it's energy so that, again, we talked about it, I can be the best for my kids. So I have to take care of myself first. You guys have to take care of yourselves first before you can better take care of your loved ones and those around you, right? So that's number one. Number two is overall health, optimal health. I want to live to be 100, right? I want to walk my granddaughter down the aisle or whatever that looks like. Play catch, walk my daughters down the aisle, play catch in the backyard with my grandsons, right? All that stuff. I want to be the cool grandpa, right? That's hosting all the other grandkids and all that stuff. And then ultimately, it doesn't suck if you're at the pool and you take your shirt off and you look pretty good and have that ultimate confidence, right? That invincibility.
It's so huge,
I don't want to. I'm not trying to be egotistical about it, but
but it's a byproduct.
Not a better feeling in the world. Absolutely, not a better feeling in the world than taking your shirt off and not having to worry about what people think, or just having that overall confidence. Like, man, I got this. Like walking into a room like no one.
Hell yeah, dude.
You're the thing, right? So that's where it's at for me, and I think a lot of you guys would probably resonate with that and feel the same way.
When you're confident on the inside and the outside, and and you're confident about the way that you look and the way that you feel, which is energy levels, that exudes itself in every area of its life, with your business or your career, with your relationships, with everything. And I will tell you straight up, like I'll tell a quick story and then we'll close. There was my wife and I, this is before kids, and I was I wasn't in the greatest shape. My wife and I were going on a vacation to Myrtle Beach with a friend and his wife. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a razor, like a cut 6-pack. And I'm going to be like one of the fittest guys at the beach. I'm going to rock this shit. I'm going to go to Myrtle Beach and like feel like I want to just dominate the world. And so I went on like this full 3-month where I gave up alcohol. I went hard to the paint because I was determined. And I did. I accomplished my goal. I was like, that was probably the lowest body fat I've had. And I get down there and I'm literally I think I saw on our whole 5 days there, I think I saw one other guy with a 6-pack. And I'm like, wait a minute. I put all that work in for this shit. And then I started thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? It feels pretty damn good to be one of 2 dudes.
Hell yeah.
Where thousands of people are that their wife is checking you out, right? Like,
right.
Okay, cool, right? So it's a byproduct though. That's what it is. It's showing up every day, and that becomes what the result. It's that macro that we talk about, the micro discipline. That is the macro discipline. So